Hello class. So I'll try to get through this as quickly as possible. Okay, for question one, when the president of Harvard, the reason why more women don't hold tenure position in hard science, he implied in his exact words is an innate differences in science and mathematical aptitude between the sexes. So if I translate in my own words, he said that women were not as smart as men. So why did Ellen give up her dream of becoming an astrophysicist? She experienced sexist attitudes, a lack of encouragement, and her own fears and lack of confidence. So her early experience, yes, in grade 6 and 7. It started in grade 6 when she was doing a standardized test, and there was an awkward, there was an award for each sex. So the best little boy and the best little girl in each class. And she was wondering why. Why is there two? Why can't it be just one best one, either a boy or a girl? And she also said that she wanted to compete with boys and run against boys after class, and her mom would totally disapprove of this behavior from her. She said that it wasn't done. Little girls didn't compete against little boys. What did the principal said to her mother? Oh, that's a good one. The principal had said to her mother that it would be a waste of a seat, since girls don't go into careers in science and math, and it would also ruin her social life, because in those days, and she also said she remembers this, but in those days, if you were smart, you were a nerd, and if you were a nerd, you weren't very popular in school. So the teacher was worried that she wouldn't be popular in school. And as she was listening to her mother giving her the reason she was told, Eileen remembers thinking it wasn't the truth, and rationalized it as, of course, I will never have that kind of career if I cannot access the advanced courses in science and math. When she heard that second reason, she acknowledged already have known that, but that made her want to do it even more. So the fact that it would ruin her social life, she didn't really care. It made her want to do it more. For question 6, how did Ellen end up getting into Yale if she wasn't allowed to take advanced class? Well, that's a very good one, and it reminds me of my own experience. She stopped going to school because she was bored, and she was way more advanced. So she started to read all the books she could get her hands on. And she taught herself calculus from books and convinced the school to let her take the advanced test so she could go on to university. So she was very proactive and a very intelligent woman. But she was also controlled by all those BS that was in those days. What did Eileen assume about her professors? Was she right? Eileen assumes once she made it to university and the professors were so hard on her, she assumes that it was her, and that they didn't know how hard she had worked to get there and taught herself and went, against everybody being negative and not supporting her, and once she got to university, like being just a few amongst all those boys, and then flunking her first exam. You know, she was lacking the confidence, and she wasn't sure anymore. She didn't feel at the right place. Her parents were not encouraging her, asking her or encouraging her to switch to an English major instead. And she could see those pictures on a wall of just men as physicists. So she, you know, she was very apprehensive, and she thought the teachers should have known about all that and help her. And she was wrong. The teachers didn't know about that. And after asking a few professors, one said that the answer she got from one professor was explicit. He says, "It's not you. We don't encourage anybody, either man or women, because a career in science is too demanding. It takes a total commitment. And if you need encouragement, really, to finish your studies and become a physicist, well, maybe you're not in the right field. Maybe you should be looking at something else, you know. Maybe you're not a real physicist or a real scientist because you need encouragement." And Eileen reacted to this statement strongly because she knew that it wasn't true, that studies have shown and that they do encourage young white male more than any other ethnic groups, women, religion, anything. And if they were offering support and help at the beginning to all students that might need it, there might be a lot more people achieving careers as scientists. So Eileen feels there's still a lot of BS involved, and that prevents a lot of great African American women, indigenous people to follow studies as scientists. Question number 10. What happened when Eileen talked to a professor about her to pursue her own education? Oh, that was pretty. When she asked a professor, he let her know that she wasn't the right caliber of student for Yale, that they would crush her, that they're much smarter, much more, they're brighter, and her ego would get shattered, you know. So, having already that lack of confidence, at that point she backed out. She thought, well, maybe I am not smart enough. Maybe I won't make it as a physicist or scientist or mathematicians or any of those, you know, careers. So, looking back now, she didn't know that she could do this, even though she had good grades. She was intimidated. She says, even though I taught myself, and I knew I was smart, I didn't know I could do it then. So, the concept of the term of leaky pipeline refers to why so many women drops from studies from high school to doctorate degrees, like all the way through the process. Eileen goes on to explain that at every stage there are factors that contribute to women dropping out of a science and math studies. A student in high school wants to go in the program might be discouraged by her own teachers. a student at university level that will not finish her PhD. Why? She could be lacking self-confidence, being impressed by all those men's. Eileen noticed that the phenomenon is affecting older students today, meaning that women, they do enter those fields. They do enter science, math, and university levels, but that they would drop later on into their studies, as opposed to not engaging in high school or engaging in not pursuing at university level, or then now they're engaging, they're pursuing, but they're dropping out before going on to doctorate degrees or even masters. She found that there's a different factors now. There are more social, psychological, and cultural factors. So, for example, if in this strong cultural environment where women are growing up and hold on here, I'm lost.